Welcome to another edition of the ISV podcast. I'm your host, Sahil, here with Ishana, covering the final round of 16 match day at the Euros. And Ishana, we're in for a treat today because the games were excellent, especially that second match. We'll get into both matches here today, but let's start off with the Netherlands versus Romania. This was a match where Romania had actually topped the group. Netherlands got third place, so Romania was coming in the higher seed in terms of the seed of the tournament, but of course Romania was the underdog in this match. It started off well for Romania, and then the Netherlands picked it up after that.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of unfortunate. Like, they did so well in the group stage, obviously, to top their group, to a lot of people's surprise. And then, this is sometimes how it shakes out. I will say that, the Netherlands is so much fun to watch. They literally feel like you're watching basketball with the way that they play so narrow and drive it forward so much. I mean, you got Memphis Depay, who styles himself as though he's a basketball player. Yeah. And then you have Weghorst, who's tall enough to be in the NBA. So it's just such an interesting, funny breath of fresh air, really, to watch them with that much pace. I do feel bad for Romania. I think they've had an excellent tournament, and obviously they made some mistakes. I think the big one was Dragushin in the back there on that goal, with, just thinking it was out. And, I do think they got a little bit of stroke of bad luck with the reffing, giving Stanchu that yellow card for what was absolutely clean. I felt like that could have been a goal on their end, and they were moving towards that. For a high kick, that was all ball and no foul, and that was probably one of the worst calls of the tournament I've seen so far.
Yeah, that was an interesting play because, Denzel Dumfries does fakes, almost like he basically fakes the fact that the foot connected to his face. And in fact, he was on a yellow card at that time. So if the ref had given a yellow card for simulation, which would be probably harsh to do, but if he had done it, he would have been sent off. And even on that play, it was a good move where potentially Romania would have been in space running toward the Netherlands goal. And at that point in time, it was 1-1. Right after that, Dragushin makes the mistake, and it's a little tap in for the Netherlands, and then they win. So little moments can make differences in the match.
Yeah, I gotta say also, like, Nita, the goalie, I thought he came up with some big saves. And to be honest, that one someone threw some shoes on the field or something, and he was kicking one out as the ball was coming down, and that goal that Mullen scored. Not that it mattered too much, but at that point of the game, but I did wonder, like, did that throw things off? I don't know. It felt like I wish it was maybe a little less one-sided, just based on how Romania has performed throughout the tournament. It would have been, a more exciting game. But obviously, I think the Netherlands really deserves to win this. And, they played like they do, which is attack mode.
Yeah, and that's, I think, how the Netherlands has to play. And I think moving forward, they're going to be it's always a tough team to play against the Netherlands. But the nice thing about the Netherlands is they go forward and then they give you chances. So it makes for very open matches, which is, Romania had their opportunities today. They just, didn't have their shooting boots on today. And, I think they were a little bit lacking in the final third. So
exactly. Yeah. And they, like the Netherlands, they play with confidence, which I think is also so refreshing to see, rather than, people who are more tempered and maybe more tactically in their heads about, what they should accomplish on the pitch. But credit to Romania. I think it's super cool that we get to see Haji Son on the field. Like, very exciting, even with his little thing on his head.
Yeah.
But speaking of hair, I gotta say, I always give some awards to the best hair of these major tournaments, and Rachu and his blue hair, I gotta say, hands down for me, best of the tournament. So they can walk away with that.
Romania, you can walk away with that. And Romanian fans, we hope to see more from you in future tournaments. I think you hit the nail on the head with this particular point that you made, where today all four teams were going forward, and that's what I liked about it. It was a flowing game. And that's what was beautiful about the football that was played today. Up to this point in time, we've seen some very cagey matches. We've seen, matches where teams are trying to play some weird tactical style, aka England, and don't have any idea what they're doing, or we don't at least have an idea of what they're trying to do. Perhaps there's something we're missing here. But this last match of the round of 16, this was fantastic because it was just at the first half, both teams driving at each other. And then the second half, it was a super interesting dynamic with Austria trying to go after the goal, Turkey playing excellent defense, and it had a little bit of everything in this particular match.
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely one of the best games of the tournament. And I just want to say both teams, but especially Turkey, like the amount of passion and fortitude with which they literally felt like they were fighting for every single ball and fighting for their country, fighting for their place in this tournament, and Austria as well. Like that should be how all of these games should be played. And I have to say, like, I compare some of the games in Copa America to the Euro because everyone's making these comparisons right now. And it just feels like the stakes aren't there, and they should be because these are comparable tournaments. And I mean, there's so much to talk about in this game, but of course, I think the big man is obviously Günok for that insane save, best save of the tournament.
Yeah. And another big man, Demiral, with the 2 goals there, center back, putting the ball in. He had an excellent match, both on the defensive side and in terms of the goals. It was interesting because there's so many players on both sides that had influence in this match, right? Christoph Baumgartner on Austria was trying the whole match, had that last chance. There was a chance earlier where he just missed an opportunity where the ball rolled across the goal. So many chances on that. And then Arda Güler actually, despite not scoring this match, was assisted on both goals by Turkey. And that's the young star right there who's finally starting to show himself in this tournament. I think, like you said, the Turkish fans in the stadium really drove this team forward, but it was an excellent effort. You could see how much they fought for their team.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, Yilmaz in the 93rd minute, like, honestly, at that point, you got to take it to the corner flag. Like he almost cost it for his team if that last ball would have gone in. But that being said, like I was almost okay with it because he was trying so hard. This is after he had just had a great run right before that as well. And like it's almost like, again, unnecessary, but so in the game that I was almost okay with it. And to be honest, I thought that was gonna be a goal. So it was just when the game ended and both teams sort of collapsed onto the field, you could just tell how much heart they put in. And I have to say, Austria had some bad luck with their shots on goal. But something I think with the Netherlands, with both these teams, that everybody did today that was not just good but exciting for the fans is they shot on goal. And like I think people need to stop being so cute and waiting for the perfect moment to score, because things happen. We've had so many own goals in this tournament. We've had so many deflections. Yeah. You can't wait. Like you have to keep trying. And if you set that precedent, it creates some pressure on the other side. Like teams will traditionally back off. And I think especially if you're playing a team that is where you're the underdog and they're clearly, better, ranked higher by FIFA, shooting, even if they're not perfect shots on target, I think it creates some pressure, and that's how you win games. Because at the end of the day, the ball has to go in the goal. I mean, that's.
It's funny. It's funny you say that, and it seems so simple, but I think football this day and age has lost that concept of you need to score to win, right? Possession alone, nice moves, controlling the ball, that's all good and fine, but you need to score to win matches. And, I think, this possession-based game, which Spain made very popular, it's okay if you're the Spanish team, but for most other teams out there, you don't, it only helps to a certain degree. At the end of the day, like you said, you have to shoot, you have to give it a shot, you have to try, you get that moment of opening, and you never know what could happen. And I think that's what was so great about this particular match is both teams were trying. Even on the last play, which we'll talk about now, you know, a brilliant ball in, and Christoph Baumgartner's wide open there, heads it down. And for Günok to make that save, it's so hard. It's so hard as a keeper to go down like that when you're going up in the other direction. It's an incredible save.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. I mean, again, I feel like Yilmaz would have felt really bad if that would have gone in, but that save was just, yeah, it was amazing. I mean, he turns to his crowd right after, and you can immediately tell like this is a 1 in a million save. And yeah, and he also, you know, he had a couple other good saves as well. I think that people miss as well. So obviously, he, in my opinion, he's the man of the match just for that moment. But
yeah, I think the whole team played valiantly, and Austria played valiantly as well. And you know, it's
yeah,
you know, they'll be hard done to go out today, but you know, someone had to lose in this particular match, and today Turkey were on the better end, and now the teams will play each other next round, and so that should be an exciting match, right, Shauna?
yeah. I mean, I think the round of 16 matches have been vastly better than the group stage matches, and I'm really excited, and I want more.
Yeah, so if you've been enjoying these videos, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We'll be covering every day of the European Championships. We're now into the quarterfinals, and you know, there's some interesting teams in there. Obviously, we have a lot of the same favorites and stuff, but we got Switzerland in there, we got Turkey in there. So there's a couple teams that are, you know, have been flying a little bit under the radar. So let's see how they
Couple
perform.
wild cards.
Yeah, see how they perform. Any last thoughts, Sean, before we end?
You know, I don't. It was just funny. I was watching the game at a bar, and at the 93rd minute, the kitchen, like there was a fire, and we all had to evacuate. So we were like watching from like, you know, so it really intensified the moment in that sense as well. And you know, it's just that's soccer life for you.
That was the flares from the Türkiye fans celebrating. So, all right,
Perhaps.
everyone out there, keep watching the Euros, keep watching the beautiful game. We'll catch you next time.